The morning could be really slow, and I could just be meeting with kids about academics and quote unquote easier things, right? And then bam, I have a student waiting for me, and I got to do a suicide screener right then and there. And I have to completely change my mindset from going from academic help to now mental health, and being able to provide that support and that care and that compassion for that student right then and there.
Well, hi, Chrissy. It's so fun to see you right here in the studio in this space.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I'm really pumped about this. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. No, this is super fun. For our listeners, the place I would normally see Chrissy is literally on the street, because we are neighbors. And so, yeah, this is really fun to get to do something like this. And yeah, so Chrissy, you have so much to offer today to our listeners and to myself, I'm sure. And so I'm very excited about that. But I would like to start off by asking you one of our signature questions.
Sure.
It's a very deep, very personal question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Tacos or burgers?
Tacos. Easy. Easy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's just an easy question to answer.
Yeah.
What's your favorite taco place here locally?
Actually, the Cantina Verde in Green Mountain Falls.
Good.
It's so good.
So good.
It is. I've never had anything like it.
Right?
I might have it once a week, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I love that. I'm surprised I haven't caught you there.
I know, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, we need to just plan that to be there at the same time.
Okay, let's do it.
Yes, we are doing a side commercial here for Cantina Verde, yes, which is right here in Green Mountain Falls. And yeah, it's good stuff, people. Check the hours before you come, because they have odd hours, but worth the drive.
Oh,
worth the drive
100%.
for sure. Yeah, tacos. What do you order there?
I get the chicken tacos with black beans. They really honestly know my order by heart now, so it's fine. But yeah, chicken tacos with some cilantro and their red sauce and the creamy verde sauce. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, I know. It's like, if there's crack in there, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Like, we know it's so good. That's why we keep coming back. But like, if there's an addictive quality to it, I receive that. Like, it's it's a thing, you know. You find like your favorite place. There's Crystal Park Cantina, which is in Manitou Springs. I'm a huge fan of that one. They have the great mole sauce that is just like epic, and I keep coming back for that as well. I don't know if I'm addicted, but we're approaching that. So
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I feel so seen. I'm just kidding now. Okay, well, Chrissy is a school counselor, a volleyball coach, a mom, and a neighbor, and just an amazing person. And would you show our listeners and our audience, would you show them your sweatshirt? Because
yes, if I can. Let's see if I can do this. So it just says, be a good person, period.
Be a good person.
Period.
Yeah. Period. And I can say this 100%. Chrissy and her husband, Sean, are such good people. And so just getting to be with you today will hopefully make me a better person. We can always hope. But there's so much for us to learn from you. And so one of the questions I wanted to start off with is school counselor. How did you select that as your career? How long have you been doing it? Some of that stuff.
Great question. So going back to when I was actually 12 years old, I started working with kids, and I was a nanny for some family friends. And then after that, I was a live-in nanny for another family. And then I started coaching volleyball. So I have been around kids my entire life. I've been working with kids my entire life. And after I did the live-in nanny, then I became a behavioral clinician at a center for autism. And I was working with 0 to 18. And I loved that job. I absolutely loved that job. But unfortunately, the pay just wasn't great, and it wasn't stable. And so I had to find something that was more stable. So then I started becoming a paraprofessional at Manitou High School, and I did that for about 8 years. And that was probably a highlight for me in my life so far, and working with that community. And even I have a goddaughter now who diagnosed Down syndrome, and she's my everything. And she's now 26, and I met her when she was 14, and she's my other half, if I'm being honest. And
I love it.
For people that work in education, they know that paraprofessionals also don't make what they should be, as any, honestly, profession in education. And so I decided to go back to school, and I had the benefit of knowing what special ed teachers do and all the paperwork, and not so much working with the students, but developing the plans for them, those kinds of things. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to work with the kids, and I knew that. And I had a bachelor's in psychology. That was another huge passion of mine. And so then I made the decision. What am I going to go back to school for? Is it going to be counseling, because I love that world, or is it going to be special ed? And God said, it's counseling. You get to work with the entire population, general ed students, special ed students, everyone. And that's what you need to do. And so I went back, I got my master's, and applied for the school that I was interning at, and I got a job, and this is the start of my 3rd year there as a school counselor. And I couldn't be happier, honestly, because it's true. I get to work with the entire population. And if I have some downtime, or if I don't have a meeting, or there's not a kiddo in crisis, I pop into the special needs room and maybe do a little karaoke with them on Fridays. And so I still get my fix and get to hang out with those kiddos, and it's just great. I love it. It's definitely my passion, just working with kids, helping them.
I love that so much. And I am so looking forward to our conversation for so many reasons. But one of them is, as we continue in the conversation, we'll be talking some about mental health of teens, and because you're in a high school setting.
Yes.
And there's so much for us to know, especially if you're not in that generation. And, one of the hardest parts, and this is all over social media or whatever, but one of the hardest things is for generations to connect.
Yeah.
There's almost a language barrier.
Yeah.
There's a context barrier. There's a cultural barrier. But we're all in community together. And the more that we understand one another, the more we understand the mental health issues that we all face, then the better we can come alongside each other. So I'm excited to get into that. So tell me some about volleyball. So you for those of us that don't know, Chrissy is tall. She's well suited to be a volleyball player. And so what position do you play? Like, did you play in high school, college?
Yeah.
Like, tell me your volleyball story.
Yeah, so I started in 7th grade and fell in love with it immediately. And my dad was a little sad because he's a basketball player and loves basketball, and he really wanted me to try it, but I was like, Dad, I hate running, so sorry, but I'm gonna stick to volleyball.
Here's the thing.
And he was fine with that. He was like, all right, and he still supported me, of course, all the things. But I started in 7th grade, and then I tried different things. Like I swam my freshman year of high school. I did try out for basketball my freshman year, and I fell in love with the sport. I don't know what it was. And so I played all throughout high school. I played club volleyball as well. And then I went on to college. So I played at Charleston Southern University in South Carolina, and I was a middle, and I'm not super tall in the volleyball world, and I'm not even 6 foot. And so, yeah, I played in the middle, and it was great. It was awesome, but it definitely took a toll on my body for sure. And that's why I kind of stopped playing after college and got more into the coaching role, is because I still wanted that sport a part of my life. And just knowing my passion for kids and loving working with kids, I was like, well, great, that's the best of both worlds. So yeah, about 13 years I played. So
Yes, I'm sure the high school that you work at was so happy to see you coming. We not only have a school counselor, we have an awesome volleyball coach and just an awesome person. So, yeah, so I love that. Okay, so what is your favorite thing about coaching volleyball?
oh boy, just the connections that I get to make with the kids and see their growth, and not just through the sport, but through who they are as people. And really the team chemistry and watching them come together and be a team and care more about each other than themselves, and really focusing on the bigger picture. And I would say that that's it's not about the wins and losses for me. You know, we started out having a really rough season this year, and we had to do some restorative justice, team bonding, chemistry kinds of things, because all of these outside influences in their environment and school and home and all of these things were getting in the way of that. And they were so wrapped up in it that they were lashing out at the wrong people, and that was their teammates. And so we had to sit down and say, you know, I always tell all of my athletes and even my students that come into my office, I tell them what you put into something is what you're going to get out of it, 100%. And so I said that to them, and I said, we're going to do something that might feel childish. It might feel like, why are we doing this? This is so dumb, because it is very basic, but it helps. And so what we did is we sat in a circle in a classroom, and everyone got to go around, even myself, so I could model that. And we did I feel statements. And I started it, and I said, I feel really frustrated when you guys lash out at each other. You know, and then the next person would go, and if they were caught up in thinking about what they wanted to say, then they would get a pass, but we always came back to them so that everyone would share. And there is so much power in that. You know, one of my athletes sat there in front of her teammates and said, I feel like an outcast. I don't feel a part of this team. And that was a shock to a lot of them. And they were like, oh my gosh, we had no idea you felt that way. We are so sorry. Because at the end of the night, they're all great human beings. I wouldn't be there coaching if they weren't. It's just when you have all those external environments, it impacts them, and they don't realize that. And it does change them to a certain extent. And so just bringing them back to their center and their why, and reminding them that we're all here for the same goal, and we have to love each other through everything, through all things. And whatever's happening outside of volleyball, we leave it at the door. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do. So,
Well, the magic that I'm seeing is that your understanding of mental health, you're bringing it into your coaching role.
yeah.
And you can see beyond the moment that, like, actually this is happening between these two young women, but it's probably not about these two young women. It's probably
Yes.
stuff that's
Yes.
happening outside of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What
Yeah.
a huge benefit. This is why, you know, sometimes people say, well, who's your audience for your podcast? And I feel like it's kind of everybody in some
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Because the more any of us in any of our roles, the more we understand mental health, think of the ways that it can impact all of our relationships, especially if you're in a leadership role like a coach.
Yeah, 100%. And we just did an activity, so I try and have the girls journal at least once a week before practice. And we do a lot of mindfulness. I mean, it's statistically proven that those kinds of things just help, whether you're a female athlete or just a teenager. And so we did this activity, and we were on a losing streak. And I asked the girls, what are you telling yourselves? Because from an outside perspective, watching them go through a losing streak and losing in the middle of a match, the body language is very somber, and they don't look mad, but they look sad, and they don't look mad or angry at their teammates, but they look mad and angry at themselves after a mistake, those kinds of things. And so I flat out asked them, what are you telling yourself in those moments? And we went through this article, and it talked about already the challenges that female athletes face. So body image issues, discrimination, the minority population. And we talked about, you're already facing all of these things, and maybe you don't know it. Maybe you do. Maybe you are facing them and don't realize it, or you're not aware. And why would you do that to yourself? Why would you sit there in the middle of a game where you're doing something that you love and say to yourself, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to get this pass. I'm not a good hitter. This team is better than me. And that's self-sabotage in that moment, right? And so I had them journal and write out all of the negative things that they tell themselves in a match. And then I said, okay, now we're going to flip it. And you're going to turn those negatives into a positive. And Meredith, some of the things that I read that they wrote that they're telling themselves, it was unbelievable and painful to see these girls be so hard on themselves. And it broke my heart. It literally did. And so we did that activity, and I am now able to, in the middle of a match or a game, say, what are you telling yourself? What are you telling yourself? And it has been a game changer, literally. And they are happier, and they are thriving, and we've been on a winning streak since then. And it's just something that the mind is such a powerful thing. And I always love going to more professional developments and learning about these things and my education and my background and those kinds of things, because it's not what these girls deserve. They don't deserve to be telling themselves that. And so anytime I get the chance to tell any student or student athlete that is my goal. So.
Gosh, this is so applicable to every person on the planet.
Yes.
Like, this could be all of our action steps. Like, whenever we step into or step out of something that feels like a loss, like something that I didn't nail. Well, I didn't nail that. Was it a proposal I sent didn't work? Was it a school assignment?
Yeah.
Was it an interaction with a challenging individual? Stepping out of it, like, what am I saying to myself? That's a great action step for all of us to think about, journal about, reflect on.
Yeah.
Chrissy, would you just coach all of us in our lives forever? That's really, really great. Really, really great. And then I know, in addition to all of this, you have a thriving family life. Would you please share with us whatever you would like to about your family?
Yeah. So I was not able to conceive and have children. And so my husband and I thought that it would be important to provide a loving home for kids in need. And so we went down that road, and we started the fostering process kind of early on. And then right after that, I was still subbing while I was getting my master's, and I met this kiddo and completely fell in love with him. Just the sweetest, cutest. And of course, he was in the special ed world and part of that community. And he was just great. So full of life, so full of love and energy. And I ended up hearing about his story, and it was pretty hard to hear. And then I found out he had siblings. And then through subbing and working, I got to meet those siblings and cross paths with them. And they have changed my life 100%. The resiliency, the just kindness that they have in their heart, even after all the things that they've been through, has opened my eyes to a completely new world. and just the things that they have still had to face while in our care, and
So they
supporting
came
them
to
through
your
that.
care. These are the
Yes.
kids that you're parenting right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And getting to love them through the process and getting to love them through the difficulties that they went through still to this day of testifying and all the meetings with caseworkers and lawyers and not really even understanding all of it, because who would? I don't even understand it half the time. And they're troopers, man. They are so strong. They really truly are, and have shared that strength with me and given me more strength. And like I said, they have just changed my life 100% for the better. And I'm just so grateful that they have been brought into my life and shown me all these things, because it's definitely helped me grow as a person. And it's helped me in my profession too. And vice versa, my knowledge and my background and my passion for kiddos has also helped them and our relationship just grow and get even better and even closer. So yeah, they're awesome. They're great.
That's amazing. And you're married to a wonderful man who also serves in the community.
Yes. First responder. He's a firefighter for Monument. Yeah. So that's just something that clicked for both of us, and that passion for helping others. So
Well, gosh, there's so much that you have going on,
yeah.
and there's so much experience you have as well, which is what I'd love to ask more about. Like, what's for a school counselor, the thing that I don't ever understand is how much of your job is like one-on-one, spending time like counseling, students, like encouraging, giving them, mental health support, and how much is like paperwork and stuff that is required by the school and that kind of thing. That's a question that I think we might have.
Yeah. Honestly, I do think I love my job because I never know what my day is going to bring, honestly. Of course I have meetings scheduled, and I know that in the beginning of the semester, each semester I'm going to have to do scheduling and paperwork and all those things. So there is some of that just kind of monotonous, same thing every year type stuff. But really throughout the day, I don't know what I'm going to walk into. And I really have to be ready for anything and everything. And at the entire day as well. The morning could be really slow, and I could just be meeting with kids about academics and quote unquote easier things, right? And then bam, I have a student waiting for me, and I got to do a suicide screener right then and there. And I have to completely change my mindset from going from academic help to now mental health, and being able to provide that support and that care and that compassion for that student right then and there. And it doesn't matter if I didn't get sleep the night before. It doesn't matter if it's triggering me, the topic, whatever it is, I got to be there for them. And I have to make sure that I am, as 100% as I possibly can be in that moment. And what I have found works really, really well when working with all my students, whether it's a crisis or not, is just being very vulnerable with them and being very open. And so let's say, for example, I didn't get good sleep, or I have a headache, or, it's not a good day. I tell them that, and I'm very open and honest with them. And I just say, I don't disclose a lot, but I just say, hey, I really want to be here for you. I want to support you. I want to give you everything that I have. But just so you know, I'm not having the best day. So if it doesn't feel like that, I'm really sorry, and I don't mean that. And they always respond great to that. So yeah, I would say there's not a whole lot of normalcy in my world. If that helps answer your question any better, but I love it. I love the unexpected. So